Hello, this is Nick, and you're now tuned into the Night Owl. So sit back, grab your drink and snack of choice while we embark on another unsolved mystery. And please, if you wouldn't mind hitting that like and subscribe button a couple of mice, that would make the Night Owl very happy. Otherwise, enjoy. So, what comes to mind when you think of Chicago? Is it the beautiful city with the people, the cars and the lights? Maybe you think of a cold night watching the Cubs? Possibly even just a fun family memory of a time you spent there. I know we all have something that Chicago reminds us of. If we're honest, Chicago can be known for high crime rate, but what if I told you there was a string of murders in the 80s that would make national headlines on the news, cost one company millions, yes, millions, and keep people checking over their shoulder in horror, wondering if they could be next, or just at a loss for what's happening around them in the place they call home. This, my friends, is the making of a true story that happened right here before our eyes, right here in America. And that brings us to September 29th, 1982, the day that would cause 7 people to lose their lives and nobody would know how or why. It all starts with a simple dose of extra-strength Tylenol taken by the average consumer. Little did we know that almost 40 years later, we would still be scratching our heads. So why is this case still unsolved? Well, stick around as we dive deeper into this mystery. So on this day in 1982, a 12-year-old girl by the name of Mary Kellerman would mysteriously die after taking extra-strength Tylenol, followed soon after by Adam Janus, both which lived in Chicago. Adam Janus had collapsed to the floor, having to be rushed to the hospital, where he died soon after. When his family returned home, they found both Adam's brother Stanley and his wife Teresa dead from taking the same pills as he did just hours before. With 3 people from the same household dying at the same time, it led investigators to connecting the dots. After comparing the bottle found in the home of Adam Janus to the one that they found in the home of Mary Kellerman, they soon realized that the bottles shared the same control number, which read MC2880. After smelling the bottles of Tylenol, they found that both bottles smelled like almonds, which the smell of cyanide closely relates to. It didn't take long for authorities to realize that the deaths seemed linked, having been caused from the same Tylenol and in the same area. But as they did more research, they soon discovered that the Tylenol had been laced with potassium cyanide, which is highly toxic to the human body. Actually, a single tablespoon will kill 90% of anybody who happens to accidentally ingest it, only taking between 2 and 6 hours. So let's put that in perspective. Most movies we watch are only about 2 hours long. So, yeah, not much time allowing you to get any kind of medical attention. Now let's look at where the Tylenol had come from. The company who manufactured the Tylenol was Johnson & Johnson. I think you may have heard of them, right? They had several factory locations that they could have received the Tylenol from. But here's where it gets weird. All of the laced Tylenol had come from these different factory locations, yet they all ended up in Chicago. So it seems obvious that this was a planned attack directed towards one location. The same location that would prove to end the lives of 7 different people. After this, Johnson & Johnson cut all manufacturing of the product and recalled over 20 million bottles of Tylenol. 20 million. Wow. Leading to companies like Johnson & Johnson to better secure the safety of their products. Stricter standards were put in place to prevent the tampering of medical products, such as tamper-resistant packaging we commonly see today. This is also the reason why the medications we use today come in a solid state rather than powder capsules or liquid form. But laws against tampering with medication became much more strict, becoming a federal offense. Soon after the murders, Johnson & Johnson began receiving several letters from a man claiming to be responsible. This man was James William Lewis. In one of these letters, he demanded $1 million to stop the murders. As authorities began to investigate Lewis, they found DNA samples from one of the letters he had licked while sealing it shut. So he made it that easy, huh? This should be an open and closed case, right? Well, not exactly. You see, the DNA wouldn't prove to be enough evidence to pin him to the crime. Plus, it's also worth noting that he and his wife lived in New York during the time of the murders, so I think it's safe to say he most likely wasn't our guy. Even though authorities didn't have enough evidence to arrest Lewis on these murder charges, they were, however, able to arrest him for extortion due to the threatening letters he had sent to Johnson & Johnson, giving him a 13-year sentence. As the years passed, many new suspects were introduced into the case, but police were never able to gather enough evidence to arrest any of them. It would take until the 25th anniversary of the Tylenol murders for public interest to arise again. Police began to obtain several new tips and would eventually decide to re-examine the case. So in 2009, authorities would search the home of James William Lewis, hoping to find more evidence tying him to the murders, thus resulting in pretty much nothing. So you may think this is it. We may never know, and well, if I'm being honest, you might be right. But I wouldn't close the case just yet. See, in a turn of events, the FBI would ask for DNA samples from Ted Kaczynski, or better known as the Unabomber, which had attacked that same area with bombs earlier. But when the FBI asked for a sample of his DNA, Ted would say, "I will give you the sample you want, but you can't auction off any of the personal effects from my cabin," the same cabin he used to build his bombs in. However, the FBI would refuse to give him what he wanted, so in turn, they never got his DNA sample. So here we are almost 40 years later, still not knowing who or why. So, these murders remain unsolved. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more, please smash that like and subscribe button, and comment down below who you think did it. Or even tell me what you would like to see next. By the way, thank you and God bless.